tell us about the show. Clearly funny, but what is the theme of the show, the idea?
The idea of the show is really just a family, first-generation success, trying to give their children more than what they had growing up, you know, and just living the American dream. And that's what it is. It just happens to be an African-American family. And, you know, we're dealing with our ish, as all families do. You're pursuing that American dream. And that's what it is. You know, race, religion, family, relationship, parenting. We tackle it all.
All right. Stephen A., you got a question for Anthony?
Yeah, well, obviously, first of all, congratulations, my brother. You know I'm proud of you as always. But let me ask you this question. I mean, it's obviously revolutionary from the perspective that it talks about race, it jokes about race, and it appears to be, to some degree anyway, the complete antithesis of what the Cosby Show was all about, which for most of us was an all-time favorite. Are you concerned at all about those comparisons, and are you concerned at all that your willingness to tackle race head on the way the show appears willing to do could be something that's detrimental to the success of the show?
Yeah, we're not concerned about those comparisons at all. We welcome that to be compared to something as great as what Dr. Cosby did with the Cosby Show. Different time, different era as well. The things that we are talking about is nothing new. But it's a reflection of the society in which we live in today. And it's something that's going on, you know, with immigrants coming to America, you know, people who are in America, first-generation success, you know, living and striving for that American dream. And I think that is what's going to attract people and keep them watching our show every week, because we're dealing with everyday thing head on and honestly, and authentically. You know, we're telling authentic stories as honestly as we possibly can. And the stories that you saw in the pilot last night are stories from my life. You know, by no stretch of the imagination are we trying to define what Blackish is. But these are stories from my producing partner and creator of the show, Kenya Barris, his life and my life, and how we're raising our children. So it's autobiographical, actually. So that's what we're doing. But we welcome the criticism. We welcome the comparisons to the Cosby Show. It's their 30th anniversary. Hopefully 30 years from now, they're talking about our show and what we meant to the landscape of television and how we changed it.
Let's address the ish, the black ish. When I watched last night, it was trending, very popular. It seemed well received, just on first glance. When you say ish, what do you mean by that? Going back, vacillating between both worlds, but still trying to remain black? I don't understand the ish of it all.
It's a combination of all that. You may not understand my ish just as well as I don't understand your ish or Skip's ish or Steven's ish. It's all different. And the ish is how you define it and what you define it is. But the ish in particular that we're dealing with our show is race. It's religion. It's culture, cultural identity. You know, trying to assimilate and live that American dream. And if you're not careful in that assimilation, you'll forget and lose a part of who you are. And that's what Dre's character is all about. You know, he's looking at his son. He's like, yo, son, I want you to play ball like I did. What the hell is field hockey? We're just telling stories that we live. And you know, you guys do a great job of what you do here. You're going to have your detractors, but you're also going to have the people who champion what you do and support what you do. And that's just what it is and how it is in society. You're going to have your haters and you're going to have the people who love it. We're not really concerned about either. All we're concerned about is putting the best product out that we can. But what's most important, it gets us talking, it creates dialogue. You know, we may not be the show that creates the change, but we may be the show that sparks the conversation that does create that change. And that's what we're doing. And I hope we continue to do that. And by being as truthful and honest as we can, we hope that the audience responds to that.
Speaking of sparking some conversation, Bayless, you want to talk some sports with this man, or you want to stay here?
You know what? This is so good. Right. I hate to turn left
switch
and ask a sports question, but I'll try. And I'm going to ask a sports question about a sport that has not been exactly synonymous with the black community, and that's the sport of golf.
Okay.
You are addicted to the sport of golf, which has always surprised me, given that you grew up in Compton. And you play often at Mountain Gate in L.A. with Don Cheadle, Samuel Jackson, right? 2-3 times a week if you can.
Yeah, that's our foursome.
You host a show on the Golf Channel called Golf in America. Ongoing, great show.
Okay.
And a quick question, because I know you have such a feel for this game and what it means to so many people around the world. The Ryder Cup is beginning. And Rickie Fowler, who's been a lightning rod in the sport, has been pretty heavily criticized for shaving USA into the backside of his hair as he represents the United States against Europe in the Ryder Cup. Is the criticism in your mind justified?
Everybody's going to have their opinion about something. No, it's not justified. First off, I'd just like to say that Rickie Fowler shaving something into his head like that makes him blackish. Let me just put that out there right now.
There you go. That's right. So now we get the
let's just put that out there right now. But, I mean, it just goes to show you how much team spirit that he has. And to be as bold to do something like that shows that he's really passionate about what it is that he's about to embark on this Ryder Cup team.
So it's not to you irreverent or disrespectful to an event that's 87 years old that the players treat with high regard and dignity?
It's just a haircut, in my opinion. I believe that he is going to respect the game. He always has respected the game. I don't see it as a distraction or anything like that. It just goes to show you how much he believes in his team and his sport and himself and what he wants to do. And so I applaud him.
Why do you love golf so much?
Because it's the one true game that I can play with anyone where it's an even playing field. And I'm not really playing against you. I'm playing against myself to be a better golfer every swing of my club.